Most people move through life like dust in the wind, carried by opinions, distracted by noise, and satisfied by the illusion of depth. But then there exists another kind of mind, a rare mind, one that sees too much, feels too deeply, and thinks too far ahead. Such people are often misunderstood, feared, or quietly envied. They do not fit easily within the world, because they were not designed to belong to it. They were designed to understand it, to move through it like chess players among gamblers. The first sign of such a rare personality is their detachment from illusion. They no longer fall for appearances, not the glitter of wealth, not the perfume of flattery, not the mask of virtue. They see the machinery behind every word, every gesture, every ambition. When others are enchanted by the performance of goodness, the rare mind studies the motive beneath it. This detachment does not come from bitterness, but from clarity. They have looked long enough into human nature to know that it repeats itself, endlessly, predictably, tragically. They are not shocked by betrayal, nor impressed by loyalty. They understand both as temporary alignments of self-interest. This clarity isolates them. The crowd finds comfort in shared delusion, and the rare mind cannot join them. They stand apart, not because they wish to, but because the truth creates distance. They learn that sincerity is a currency too expensive to spend often. They choose silence where others waste words. They learn that understanding people too well destroys the pleasure of their company. And so, their solitude becomes both their protection and their curse. Yet, this solitude forges something stronger, an independence of thought that few ever achieve. The rare personality no longer needs validation, praise, or permission. They move according to their own logic. Their confidence is not loud, it is quiet, rooted in self-knowledge. They can watch the crowd cheer for a lie and still remain unmoved. This detachment grants them power. The power to act without the intoxication of emotion. The power to see 10 steps ahead while others stumble over the first. But this vision comes with a burden. Once you see the strings that control the world, you can never pretend not to. You become both player and observer, never fully part of the game, yet never entirely free from it. This is the cost of rare awareness, the slow realization that understanding does not bring peace, it brings precision. And precision in a world built on illusion feels like exile. So, the rare personality begins their quiet rebellion not through noise or confrontation, but through mastery, of self, of perception, and of restraint. Their detachment is not coldness, it is control. It is the calm of someone who no longer reacts, but calculates. They do not seek to change the world, they study it until they know how to move through it unseen. The second sign of a rare personality is their relationship with emotion. Not the absence of it, but their command over it. Where most people are slaves to feeling, the rare mind becomes its master. They understand that emotion is both weapon and weakness, and therefore it must be tamed, never denied, never allowed to rule. They have learned that anger is predictable, that love can be manipulated, that fear is the easiest leash to pull. They watch others rage, adore, panic, and they observe as if studying an experiment. Their calmness under pressure is not natural, it was earned through years of betrayal, disappointment, and silence. Each wound became a lesson, each loss a refinement. Now, when others are drowning in chaos, they remain still, analyzing every movement around them like a strategist before the storm. This control unnerves people. It makes others accuse them of being cold, unfeeling, or detached. But those judgments come from those who have never tasted control. The rare mind feels deeply, perhaps more than anyone else. But they have learned that expression is surrender. The world rewards those who can wear masks convincingly, and the rare ones can wear theirs flawlessly. Their emotion is like fire locked behind glass, powerful, contained, and never wasted on the undeserving. Such emotional discipline allows them to see through manipulation. They can recognize guilt trips disguised as love, outrage disguised as virtue, and pity disguised as compassion. They know that emotion is the most common form of control, and they refuse to be puppets. When someone tries to provoke them, they respond with silence, and that silence burns louder than any outburst. This composure gives them an aura of mystery. People cannot read them, and what cannot be read cannot be controlled. In a world obsessed with reaction, they become unpredictable, the most dangerous form of intelligence. They have turned detachment into armor and restraint into power. But there is a deeper truth within them. They are not heartless, they are selective. They do not waste emotion on those who cannot carry its weight. Their love, once given, is unshakable. Their loyalty, once earned, is absolute. But they will not give freely what the world has proven it cannot respect. They know that emotion, when given without measure, becomes currency for the manipulative. So they love rarely, but with precision. They trust carefully, but completely. This is what separates them from the ordinary. Most people feel to escape thought. The rare mind thinks to govern feeling. And when they act, it is deliberate, controlled, unstoppable. They understand that true strength is not found in domination, but in self-command. For when you control your inner world, no outer force can unbalance you. And that, perhaps, is the greatest mark of a rare personality, the quiet certainty that nothing outside them holds power over what exists within. The third sign of a rare personality lies in their intellectual solitude, a mind that feeds on silence, observation, and analysis rather than the chatter of the crowd. Most people crave noise because silence confronts them with themselves. But the rare mind seeks silence because within it they can hear the machinery of thought without interruption. They are the quiet observer in every room, the one who speaks last and watches first. While others speak to be noticed, they remain still to understand. They know that every word spoken too soon betrays intent, and every reaction reveals weakness. Their mind does not rush toward conclusions, it circles them, measures them, dismantles them. They treat conversation like warfare. Every statement is a move, every pause a test. This patience in thought makes them slow to trust and slower to reveal. They measure people by their patterns, not their promises. They are not fooled by eloquence, nor swayed by tears. They notice what people try to hide, the flicker in the eyes, the tremor in the voice, the subtle contradiction between words and tone. And once they have seen the truth of someone, they never unsee it. To many, this seems like cynicism, but it is not. It is clarity. The rare mind has seen enough to know that most people do not think, they repeat, they do not reason, they rationalize. And in that realization, solitude becomes a refuge, not a punishment. They retreat not because they hate the world, but because the world offers too little worth engaging with. This solitude becomes their crucible. Alone, they sharpen their perception. Alone, they master the art of stillness. Alone, they cultivate insight that others mistake for intuition. But their intuition is not magic. It is the product of relentless observation. They read people the way a historian reads empires' patterns of rise, decay, and repetition. However, such solitude changes them. They begin to value precision over politeness, truth over harmony. They grow intolerant of ignorance, not because they are arrogant, but because falsehood is an insult to intelligence. They carry within them an invisible standard, not imposed by society, but forged by discipline. Their solitude grants them clarity, but it also deepens their separation from others. The rare personality often lives at the edge of belonging, close enough to be seen, but too distant to be understood. They are invited into circles, admired for their insight, yet never truly included. They observe even in friendship, calculating silently, aware that loyalty and self-interest often wear the same face. This mental solitude becomes both shield and sword. It protects them from corruption, but isolates them from comfort. They become their own teacher, critic, and ally. And in this lonely refinement, they achieve what few ever do, independence of mind so complete that they cannot be swayed by applause, nor destroyed by rejection. The world rarely understands such people, yet it quietly depends on them. For it is always the few who see clearly that sustain the many who do not. The fourth sign of a rare personality is their ability to live in strategic contradiction, to embody both strength and subtlety, humility and power, warmth and calculation without conflict. Ordinary minds crave simplicity. They wish to be one thing, defined and stable. But the rare mind is fluid. It understands that power lies not in consistency, but in adaptability, the ability to shift shape according to the terrain, to become what the moment demands while never losing the core beneath the mask. They understand that rigidity is the death of influence. The world belongs to those who can bend without breaking, who can speak the language of wolves in the forest and saints in the temple. This duality confuses others. They cannot tell whether such a person is sincere or strategic, compassionate or cold. The truth is that they are both, and neither. They have learned that the most dangerous form of intelligence is the ability to appear ordinary while being anything but. The rare mind practices invisibility. They have no desire to be constantly seen. They prefer to be underestimated. They know that exposure invites interference, and mystery creates control. When others rush to announce their virtues, they conceal theirs. They do not advertise what they are capable of. They let results whisper it for them. And when they act, it feels to others as if their power emerged from nowhere, when, in truth, it had been silently building all along. They can blend into chaos without being touched by it. They can agree outwardly while disagreeing inwardly. Their smile may conceal a calculation, their silence may be a decision. But this is not deception for its own sake. It is protection. They have learned that the world punishes honesty more often than deceit, and so they give truth only where it will not be weaponized. This balance between truth and disguise, emotion and intellect, gives them command over perception. They can shape how they are seen, and therefore how others behave around them. This mastery of perception is not vanity, it is strategy. They understand that control over one's image is control over the battlefield. A word spoken too openly can invite resistance. A mask worn too long can create dependence. Their contradiction also extends inward. They are both idealist and realist. They dream deeply, but act pragmatically. They believe in greatness, yet know the world rewards manipulation more than merit. So they learn to operate within imperfection without becoming corrupted by it. Their soul remains disciplined even when their tactics are flexible. Such duality is rare because it requires strength to contain opposites without tearing apart. To be kind without being weak, patient without being passive, humble without being submissive. This is an art few can manage. The ordinary person breaks under the tension of contradiction. The rare personality thrives within it. They live by quiet paradox, fully aware of the darkness in people, yet still capable of compassion, conscious of the futility of the world, yet still willing to play the game to its highest level. In this balance, they find their supremacy, not through domination, but through mastery of self amidst the storm of others. They are not trying to be perfect, they are trying to be effective. And effectiveness in a corrupt world often requires the wisdom to appear less than you are. The fifth and final sign of a rare personality is their uncompromising self-awareness, the relentless pursuit of understanding who they are beneath every illusion, fear, and disguise. This awareness is not gentle. It is a mirror without mercy, a light that exposes even what they wish to ignore, where others seek comfort in distraction. The rare mind seeks truth even when it wounds. They know that the greatest power is not over others, but over the self that commands them. They have dissected their own motives, traced the origins of their desires, and confronted the shadows that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. They understand that the enemy is not out there. It is within. The impulse to please, the craving to belong, the fear of being alone. They have fought these inner tyrants and subdued them one by one. What remains afterward is not innocence, but clarity. They do not pretend to be pure. They have accepted that strength is born from conflict, and that peace is the reward of those who have faced their own chaos. This self-awareness makes them dangerous in the quietest way. They cannot be easily manipulated because they have already met the parts of themselves others might try to use. You cannot shame them with their past, seduce them with illusion, or control them through guilt. They know their weaknesses intimately, and by knowing them, they own them. To outsiders, this seems like arrogance, but it is not pride, it is sovereignty. They have built an internal kingdom where no one else holds power. Their approval of themselves is not borrowed from applause or acceptance. It comes from the cold, steady knowledge that they are exactly what they have chosen to become. Such people move differently through life. They no longer chase recognition because they recognize themselves. They do not compete with the world because their battle is internal. They no longer crave control because they are control. Their calmness in chaos, their patience in crisis, their refusal to be provoked, all stem from the same root. They no longer need the world to confirm their worth. And yet, beneath that calm exterior lies a mind that never sleeps. The rare personality is not content with static understanding. They refine themselves endlessly. Every interaction becomes data, every failure a dissection, every success a test of detachment. They evolve not out of desire for improvement, but out of duty to their own potential. They understand that mastery is not a goal, but a lifelong state of becoming. Still, this awareness carries a quiet loneliness. Once you see yourself clearly, you can no longer hide in illusions, not even comforting ones. You see your virtues, but also your manipulations. You recognize your brilliance, but also your darkness. And yet, the rare mind embraces both, for to reject one is to cripple the other. This is the paradox of the rare personality. They are both enlightened and burdened, liberated yet isolated, powerful yet unseen. They are the ones who walk through life like ghosts among the living, watching, calculating, understanding but never fully belonging. The world may never appreciate them, yet it quietly relies on their existence to maintain its fragile balance. They are not heroes, nor villains. They are observers who have chosen precision over comfort, truth over belonging, mastery over illusion. And though they may walk alone, they walk awake, untouched by the madness that consumes the many. For in a world that worships imitation, to know oneself completely is the rarest rebellion of all.